All right, if you're a property host in northern Greece, I'm talking about places like Kavala or Peramos, then you're going to want to listen up. We are about to do a deep dive into a very specific, and I mean incredibly valuable type of guest that could totally reshape your entire booking season. So let's jump right in. Okay, I'm going to start with a number that should really make you sit up and pay attention: 40%. According to a really detailed analysis by the Greek property management pros at Planbnb, this is how much potential cash many hosts are just leaving on the table every single season. I mean, that's a staggering amount of money.
So the obvious question is, why, right? How could that much income just be slipping through the cracks? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It all comes down to a huge misunderstanding of one key guest: the Balkan road tripper.
And that right there is the core mistake, the reason for that massive 40% gap. See, for years, the whole market has been treating travelers from Romania and Serbia like they're just budget tourists. But that stereotype, it's completely outdated, and frankly, it's now costing hosts a fortune. The game has changed, big time. I mean, really think about it. The guest who's pulling up to your property today isn't looking for the absolute cheapest room they can find. No way. They're often driving a high-end SUV. They're looking for premium, lifestyle-focused places. And believe me, they are more than willing to pay for the specific comforts that they value. The market's shifted, and it's time our hosting strategies caught up. So, how do we fix this? How do we close that 40% gap? It all starts by understanding who these new VIPs really are. We've got to get inside their heads, understand what motivates them, and figure out their biggest worries before they even think about clicking that book button. Now, what's so fascinating here is that we're not talking about just one type of person. It's way more nuanced. On one hand, you've got the Romanian guest, the lifestyle traveler. Think fast, tech-savvy, and zero friction. They want super easy digital check-ins, high-speed everything, and they're the ones booking extras like boat rentals. But then, on the other hand, you have the Serbian family and heritage traveler. Think warmth, tradition, and incredible loyalty. They travel in big, multi-generational groups, so things like safety and simple logistics are everything to them. And here's the real kicker. You win them over just once, and they could be booking with you for the next decade. Okay, so knowing your guest is half the battle. But the other half? Well, your property has to actually deliver the goods. So let's move on to the foundational stuff, the absolute non-negotiables that speak directly to what these guests need. These are the things you have to get right. Get ready for this, because this one is a total game changer. For a guest who has just driven hundreds of kilometers, knowing their car is safe and easy to get to is more important than almost anything else. They're not just hopping in a cab from the airport, right? Their car is their lifeline for the whole trip. So what that means for you is that how you talk about your parking can literally make or break a booking. And this breaks it down perfectly. It's a value ladder. Street parking, that's the bare minimum. Private gated parking? Okay, now that's a premium feature you should be showing off in your photos. But the real pro move, the magic phrase, is shaded parking. Anyone who's ever left a car in the Greek sun knows that's a huge plus. And if you want to go to the next level, a simple EV charger can tack on an extra 15 to 20 euros to your nightly rate. That's pure profit. Next up, Wi-Fi. Look, the whole work from Greece thing isn't just a trend anymore. It's a reality. Your guests are stretching their holidays by working remotely for a few days. So don't just write fast Wi-Fi in your listing. Prove it. Take a screenshot of a speed test showing over 100 megabits per second. It builds instant trust, and it's a magnet for those high-value digital nomad bookings. And we have to talk about the kitchen. Unlike a lot of other tourists, Balkan guests actually cook. So the coffee war, you have to win it by offering both Nespresso and a filter machine. Then there's the soup factor. For big families, having at least one large pot is essential. And please, for the love of all that is holy, get rid of that tiny hotel minibar. They're buying watermelons and drinks for the whole family. They need a proper, full-sized fridge. Okay, so you've got the physical stuff, the hardware nailed down. Now let's get into the software. These are the strategies that build the kind of trust and loyalty that gets you those glowing 5-star reviews year after year. Localization is so important. And you don't have to be fluent or anything, but your property listing should be. Just adding a simple welcome sentence in Romanian and Serbian can actually help the booking platform algorithms show your property to more of these guests. And a custom digital guide with tips they will actually use, like where to find a good butcher or links to the border crossing webcams, that's not just a nice touch, that is pure gold. Look, these guests are savvy. They know about potential scams and all the new regulations. You have to signal that you are a professional, trustworthy host. So display your official property registry number right on your listing. Ditch the blurry phone pics and invest in bright professional photos. And if you're with a management company, show off that badge. It tells guests there's a real, local team they can rely on if anything goes wrong. Here it is, a simple but incredibly powerful hack. Why is being pet-friendly such a big deal? Because these guests drive. And because they drive, it's way easier for them to bring their pets along. So many hosts just say no pets out of fear, which means by simply saying yes, you open your doors to a massive, super grateful market that all your competitors are ignoring.
All right, let's pull all these threads together now with the final, most important piece of the puzzle: strategy. This is where you stop thinking like someone who just rents out a room and start thinking like a savvy investor who really understands the unique rhythm of their market.
Now, this is a big one. This is where so many hosts get it totally wrong. They use a generic one-size-fits-all pricing calendar, but the Balkan holiday calendar is completely different. Orthodox Easter, even if it falls in April, is high season for these guests. May 1st is basically the unofficial start of summer, and whatever you do, do not drop your rates too early in September. While other tourists are heading home, Serbian guests absolutely love this velvet season. Your pricing has to be dynamic, and it has to reflect their travel patterns, not someone else's.
So, you see how it all fits together? It really boils down to this simple three-part system. First, get your hardware right: the parking, the Wi-Fi, the kitchen. Second, you master the software. That's the localization, the trust signals, the communication. And third, you layer on the right strategy with dynamic pricing that's tuned to the Balkan calendar. When all three of those things are working together, that's how you capture that 40% you might have been missing.
And really, that's the question to leave you with. In today's market, just putting a property online isn't enough. The hosts who are really crushing it are the ones who understand their ideal guests on a deep level and build an entire experience just for them. So the question is, are you just renting, or are you ready to host with strategy? I really hope this helps you get there. Thanks for tuning in.